Good evening and happy holidays from South Mississippi Surgical Weight Loss Center. My name is Nanette and I'm so glad you made it this evening for our Healthy Through the Holidays educational webinar. We're glad that you could participate this evening. Before we get started, allow me to review some housekeeping items. First, I want to be sure that everyone can hear me. If you notice on your GoToWebinar utility, on the right side of the screen, there is an icon that looks like the palm of a hand. If you can hear me, please click it once. Great, I see lots of hands going up. Currently, everyone is in listen-only mode. We know you will have questions during the presentation. Allow me to direct your attention back to the GoToWebinar utility. On the right side of your screen, towards the bottom, is an option to post questions. During the course of the presentation, please submit your questions in that box. I will use your first name only. You will have the opportunity to ask your question live, or I can ask it for you. We will address questions at several points through the presentation. There will also be several polls in the presentation, so your participation is encouraged. Now I'm so excited to announce our presenter this evening, our own South Mississippi Surgical Weight Loss Center dietitian, Patricia "Tish" Hancock. Tish is our outpatient clinical dietitian who specializes in weight loss and maintenance, therapeutic diets, and nutrition education. She completed her master's degree in nutrition science and food systems at the University of Southern Mississippi and also holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in communications with an emphasis in psychology from the University of South Alabama. Tish has turned her lifelong hobby of nutrition and fitness into a passionate career in health and wellness. Good evening, Tish, and happy holidays. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great, Nanette. How are you? I love your antlers.
Thanks. I'm doing a little reindeer festive fun here. Give me just a moment. I'm going to go ahead and give you control of the presentation.
All right. Hello to all of our viewers. Glad to have you. I will say this is my first webinar and wanted to pack it full of lots of wonderful information. So if you have questions, as Nanette said, please feel free to ask. And here we go. You ready for me?
Yep. Do you have control of the screen, Tish? Yep. Looks like you do. You're changing the slides.
Okay. So tonight what we're going to do is I've come up with the best information that I researched that I thought that you would like to know about. I've tried to keep it pretty simple, but you know me, I like to be very, very detailed. For those of you who know me, you know that's a characteristic of mine. So I will try to keep it as simple as possible. Again, at the end of the slide, if you have questions and you want to talk to us further in the future, we will give you our 800 number and you can call and find out about healthy nutrition and ask any questions that you have. So tonight what we're going to do is I'm going to talk about a few little statistic facts. I'm going to do a quick Nutrition 101 review because my patients know I never give up an opportunity to educate about nutrition. I think that's where it all starts. So I will do that. Along with that comes healthy food groups. So we'll talk about where you can find these healthy nutrients, what types of foods provide them. I do want to talk to you about the pound, and this slide is basically a concept that I use when I educate to put perspective on how important exercise and nutrition are together. I will give you some ideas about meal planning and ways to make healthy eating easier. We'll talk about a recipe modification, exercise, and your mental health. So let's start with my favorite slide that I have in every single one of my presentations, and that is, if it's not challenging, it's not changing. So just like anything in life that comes with great reward, there takes effort. My patients are very familiar with this saying, and also knowledge has power, or knowledge is power. I believe that if I can educate, then my patients and people that I speak with are going to be more apt to follow a healthy lifestyle. And part of that is making it realistic and in a way that you can understand a little bit of the nutrition science behind it. So at the clinic, we do a lot of nutrition, science, and physiology education for that purpose. Okay, so statistics show it has been said that the average American consumes approximately 4,500 calories and 229 grams of fat from eating a traditional holiday meal. Studies also show the average weight gain to be from 2 to 8, about an average of 5 pounds during the holiday season, and these may become permanent and grow year to year. I think we've all experienced situations where we don't feel weight coming on, it creeps on us, and before you know it, it's 10, 20, or 30 pounds, and it's almost as if it happened overnight, but it did not. So that is key in slow and steady weight loss can be lost just like slow and steady weight gain. So little things that you can do to change eating habits and to cut calories, or not just calories, but to provide yourself with proper nutrients are what we're going to focus on tonight. We also tend to eat more and exercise less with the hustle and bustle of the holidays. So we hope that this webinar will help you through the holidays to be able to stay on track a little bit better. One of the biggest things that I found in my life is when I get into routine, if I get out of routine, it's so much harder to get back into routine. So sometimes it's just walking into the gym for that very first time after being out of the gym for 3 months. But these are the little things that we want to try and prevent through the long stretch that is November, December. So that's what we're hoping to do here. Okay, so let's talk about a quick nutrition review. I just think this is very important because the basis of everything that we teach at the clinic is based on nutrition science and just proper nutrition. So I do want to tell you that the important components of a healthy diet consist of carbohydrates. Yes, I said carbohydrates. In fact, carbohydrates is my #1 essential nutrient that I teach about, which provides energy and fuel to the body. In fact, it is the preferred energy source for the body. Protein and fat can be converted to glucose or energy source. However, your body wants to be able to preserve protein and the small amount of fat that we should get in our diet for functions that those are specific to. So carbohydrates fuel the metabolism and the brain and are very super important, and we'll talk about where those come from on the next slide. Protein builds hair, skin, nail, and muscle. Not only does it do this, it is responsible for the lining of all of our major organs, and it has many, many, many functions in optimal health. So protein is just as important as carbohydrates, and they work very well together. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a little bit. Then we can't forget vegetables. Vegetables are not a macronutrient like carb and protein, but they are a food group that are very important for getting nutrient value increased so that your body has more of an opportunity to release stored fat. There are misconceptions about weight gain, and sometimes weight gain is brought on from not having enough nutrient value in your diet. So you may be eating tons of food or empty calories, that being foods that don't provide your body with much nutrient but just calories. But vegetables are a good way to get that nutrient value up so that your body is more apt to release stored fat from showing that it's not going through a starvation mode. And then, of course, water. We forget about water. Water is essential. Our body does not create water. Even though our nose, our eyes are wet, we speak, moisture comes out, we do not make water. So water is super, uber important for metabolism and weight loss. In fact, you should drink the minimum limit is about 64 ounces a day, which is 8 8-ounce glasses. I do a little thing in my nutrition class, and I'll go ahead and do it with you because it is very important. But a way to check your hydration would be in the morning when you get up and go to the restroom. You'll observe your urine. It'll be dark and dense and cloudy. By noon, you should have your urine running clearly. That is letting your body, your body is telling you that you're hydrated. And then check it again around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and if it's dark and dense again, you haven't had enough water. Make sure you're running clear before bed. Okay, so water is super important, and we'll talk about what all is included, how you can get your water. So I hope this is helping you. This is kind of the, I guess, boring part of the presentation. I just really want to make sure that before we talk about how to eat healthy, that you understand what that means. So very quickly, I would like to go through what foods contain these essential nutrients. Okay, so carbohydrates are three main categories: fruits, breads and grains, and starchy vegetables. Does that sound familiar? Okay, so if you're a past patient of mine, you understand this very well. So this is just a review for you. For my new folks that are watching, this may be new to you, or it may be a review as well. But I do want to make sure that you understand that carbohydrates are the preferred energy source for the body, but they digest at a very rapid rate. In fact, they start digesting in the mouth because of an enzyme in the saliva. So by the time carbohydrates get into the gut and get churned and enter the duodenum, which is the first part of the intestinal tract, they are ready for absorption. And they go into the bloodstream, raise the blood sugar. A protein called insulin comes out and surrounds that blood sugar and gets it into the cells very quickly. It's a natural reaction. You don't want sugar floating around in your blood. It's not healthy for your arteries. So we want to get that into the cells very quickly. So what happens is, if you eat an abundance of carbs at one time, or you're eating carbs with high sugar content, they're going to enter the cells very quickly. And so the body is going to use what it needs for energy at that moment, and chances are it's going to store the rest. Typically it will store in the muscle and the liver as glycogen, which is the storage form of glucose, but in many cases we're kind of full in that area. So where does it go but on the body? So we just need to make sure that we understand that carbohydrates are important, but there are certain ways to eat them and certain amounts to prevent that. That brings me to protein. So protein is the building block for structure and for the body, but it also slows the rate at which carbohydrates enter the body. Okay? So going back up to carbohydrates, when you have fruit, when you have breads and grains in their natural state, of course, you want to stay clear of white rice, white pasta, and white bread. But whole grain pasta, whole grain cereal, whole grain crackers, rice, pasta, popcorn, all of that stuff is healthy. But you want to have a serving of protein with it. That goes with starchy vegetables as well. Corn, peas, beans, potatoes, lentils, winter squash are all carbohydrates that are very healthy for you. But you always want to pair your carbohydrates with protein. Protein comes in three major categories: meats, meat substitutes, and milk and dairy. So your meats are going to be lean meats. So instead of choosing a ribeye, you might choose a filet or a sirloin. Instead of choosing the dark meat all the time with chicken, when you choose chicken, have white meat some of the time. Don't eat the skin. Trim your fat, and just try to choose leaner, healthier meats. If it's ground beef, you want 94 to 96% lean. Okay, meat substitutes are beans with brown rice, and some of you probably know this already. Down here in the South, we love our beans and rice. And if you will use a brown rice when you cook your beans, that creates a full protein. So it is a meat substitute. That's what that means. You can have beans with brown rice to substitute for meat. How does that work? Well, beans have amino acids which make up protein, but they don't have all the amino acids which make a complete protein. Therefore, if you take brown rice, which does have that one amino acid that beans are lacking, they come together, they make a full protein. So it's just as good as eating a healthy piece of meat with less fat. And then your milk and dairy. Okay, patients of mine, you know how important I feel dairy is. So we recommend that you have 3 servings of dairy a day. Dairy equals milk, cottage cheese, low fat of course, Greek yogurt, low fat of course, and low fat cheese. Okay. I do try to get my patients to vary their dairy. Vary your dairy each day. So if you have a cheese stick in the morning for a snack with a piece of fruit, which would be your carb, you would have maybe cottage cheese with fruit in the afternoon. Okay, so that is how protein and carbs work together. And you can ask me questions about that in just a moment. I believe Nanette has a question slide coming up, so if you have questions about the protein carb pairing, feel free to ask that. I do feel like I need to talk to you a little bit about fat. It is an essential nutrient. In fact, did you know that if you cut out fat completely, like some fad diets do, you could go deficient in vitamins A, D, E, and K, which are called fat-soluble vitamins. In other words, they have to use lipids to enter the bloodstream. So some fat is good. A little bit of fat in the diet is healthy. However, you want to make sure that that fat is mostly coming from vegetable forms of fat, such as avocado, canola oil, olive oil, and other healthy oils. Animal fat, on the other hand, is what we call saturated. It's saturated with hydrogen, and it goes into the bloodstream and causes plaque buildup. So you want to be really careful not to eat too much of the saturated fats. You just want to trim your meat and choose healthy, lean portions and healthy, lean meats. Some of you understand that to be high cholesterol. So reduce the fat intake, but use good, healthy fats, fish oils, things like that. I do want to tell you at this point in time, and this could change, but we do have lots of research at the moment showing that tropical oils, such as coconut oil, and palm kernel oil, may have the same effect on the human body as saturated animal fat. So at this point in time, we are recommending not to use those things or to use them in extreme small amounts. That could change. This is a science. We learn new things every day. But for now, that's our take on that. Vegetables, I think I've already told you about. Veggies are anything that are not listed under starchy veggies. So vegetables give you lots of vitamins, lots of fiber, lots of antioxidants which fight cancer and do other wonderful things to the body. So be sure and eat your vegetables, and we recommend 3 servings or more a day. That can be raw, it can be cooked, it can be canned, as long as you rinse the sodium. Okay? And then water. We talked about how important water is. Water-based fluids include tea, coffee, soup, Jell-O, popsicle, but you want to make sure that you're using the sugar-free. Okay? So let's see.
Hey, Tish, I think it's about time for us to do the first poll.
Excellent.
So let's see what we have here. Let me launch the poll so we can find out what everybody thinks about this. How many holiday parties do you plan to attend this year? So we just want to know, how many big parties do you plan on going to, you know, what you've got going on, and how many parties you'll have to plan ahead and prioritize what your treats and indulgences will be. So in order to do this poll, you just click on your answer. So each one of our audience members, go ahead and click on your answer in the poll. And as soon as we have close to 100%, I'll go ahead and share with the audience the number of parties everybody's going to, so we can see how active everyone's going to be. I haven't gotten any invitations yet. Have you gotten any invitations yet, Tish?
I have. I've gotten some family invitations. And my best friends, we call ourselves the 6 Hot Chicks. We've been friends for a long time. So
I have actually 2 family invitations now that I think about it. But, you know, need to have some get-togethers with some friends. Maybe you can come visit me in New Orleans, and we can go hear some carols at the cathedral and have dinner and have a little party together. So we have 100% in. Yeah, it's definitely a date. So we have 100% in. Let me go ahead and close that poll, and I will share with the audience the results of the poll. And what you'll see here is that most of us seem to be going to 1 or 2 parties, and then you know, secondary there is 3 to 4 parties, and there are a handful of folks that are not going to any parties. So that's not a problem. Yeah, I'm a party wherever I show up, so you know. Sometimes you don't have to leave your house to have a party. So I'm going to go ahead and hide this poll and let you go ahead and continue your presentation.
All right, thank you. Oh, turn my water off. Okay. All right, so I'm back, and this is another slide that my patients are very familiar with because I want patients to understand, or people to understand, that there's a lot of fad diets out there. There's a lot of hit and misses as far as fads. So I want you to understand that if something sounds too good to be true, or if something promises great results from cutting out any one full food group or anything like that, we just encourage you to be leery of that type of thing. And just know that at South Mississippi Surgical Weight Loss Center, the program that we designed there is based on nutrition science and just healthy food eating, balancing out your nutrients. You don't have to, worry about the fact that you'll never be able to do wonderful things that you love again, because I do allow a cheat meal once a week, and if you do get off track, it's very easy to get back on track. You just have to have that motivation to do so. So I do want to say that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. I'm sure we've all heard that, and I'm sure we have all been down that road before. So the next thing I want to talk about, we're going to go over some holiday tips. These are the things that I pulled out of lots of research that I just thought were worth talking about. And the main focus of where we're going with this presentation tonight is don't gain, aim to maintain. So, a lot of my patients get discouraged when they maintain. And I just want you to understand that maintenance is oftentimes one of the hardest things to do and one of the biggest accomplishments. I mean, we can oftentimes, do really well for a week or two and lose weight, but maintenance is typically when you're not doing everything the way you should, but you're able to balance and make it work. So number one is be realistic. Aim to maintain over the holidays. It is a hard time to think about weight loss. Plan your indulgences. I think this is a great idea because and the reason that Nanette and I wanted to know how many parties you were going to is to kind of get a handle on how many times you're going to have to determine whether you're going to eat something or whether you're going to indulge. So if you plan ahead of time, and this is what I tell a lot of people when I go to a party myself, okay? Yes, I'm a dietitian, but no, I am not immune to weight gain. So when I go to a party, I say, I'm going to look at the table first. I'm going to look at everything that they offer, okay? And then I'm going to decide, do I want a cocktail and one sweet, or do I want to skip the cocktail and do all sweets? But what I do is I kind of look at everything. I choose what is on the buffet that I can eat that is healthy for me. One of the main things that I try to get people to understand is it's okay to indulge, but that does not mean that you skip or don't have your healthy foods throughout that day. So what you want to think about is providing your body with the nutrients that it needs each day, and you can learn more about that at the choosemyplate.gov website. But you also want to plan for indulgences. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a bit. Practice discretion. So when you go to a party, don't think that, just because it's all there, you have to try it all. What I do is I choose my most favorite two indulgences, and I usually stick with that, and then I eat sensibly the rest of the time. So number two is plan your daily food ahead of time. So while we're in the hustle and bustle of the holidays, I think it's very important that we stick to our healthy lifestyle diet, okay? As I talked to you before about protein and carb pairing helps to fuel the metabolism. The protein eaten with the carb will slow the rate at which the carbs enter the bloodstream so that the body is more apt to burn it all up for energy rather than storing it, okay? But it's just as important to have protein with carb, because if you only eat protein, your body is going to try and convert part of that protein into energy, and then you rob your body of protein for what it's supposed to work in the body for. So pack sensible snacks to go that are in protein-carb combinations. For instance, I wake up tomorrow, let's say, it's Saturday, and I know that I have a party to go to tomorrow evening, right? Party starts at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, probably 4 to 9. which encompasses my dinner, my PM snack, and my bedtime snack. All right. So I know that those 3 of my most important meals of the day or snacks of the day are going to be disrupted by party. So what I'm going to do is my breakfast and my mid-morning snack and my lunch are going to be right on time. They are going to be protein-carb combo, add veggies wherever I can, and I'm not going to skip them. And usually at holiday parties, you're not going to get a whole, you can get fruit, but you may not get some good dairy. So you better believe my mid-morning snack is going to be dairy and probably fruit, okay? So you just want to kind of plan your daily food ahead of time so that you kind of know what you're doing. Now, I know you're not going to understand or know what each party is going to have, but you want to make sure that you do not save up calories, which by skipping other snacks. So in other words, I'm going to a party that lasts from 4 to 9. I'm not going to eat all day until then. Well, that's just crazy, because what happens is you shut down your metabolism. So it's very important to understand that you should provide your body with a little bit of healthy protein and carb about every 4 hours. For my surgical patients, about every 3, because your portions are smaller, to keep the metabolism going. Chances are, the better you eat in the first part of the day, the better off you're going to be with those indulgences. So I hope that makes sense. It's really hard for me not to be able to see your reaction and understand if that's making sense to you. So please, if you have questions about that, or you just want to comment and say, hey, Tish, I got that, just let us know when we get to do questions, okay? The last number C, or letter C, is mind your portions. So I just want to make sure that you understand that just because a slice of cake is 4 inches by 4 inches does not mean we have to eat all of that. So just a little bit of tidbit of information for you, and if you can kind of jot this down. A 2-inch by 2-inch piece of cake with icing is approximately 200 calories. So you know that that is going to be something that you can make up later, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Okay. Number 3, stay hydrated. If this is probably the thing I have trouble with when I'm shopping and when I am out on the run. Especially when you're shopping and there's not a whole lot of places in the mall or at the outlet mall to stop and get water. Plan ahead. Carry your water bottle with you. Hydration is very important. In fact, a lot of people don't realize that a simple headache, a little bit of dizzy feeling, a little bit of nausea, just not feeling quite right, can be related to not enough water. And I'm not talking soda, I'm talking water. And so make sure that you're drinking plenty of water and plan ahead and take that water with you. Limit alcohol. I didn't say avoid alcohol, I said limit alcohol. So just know that alcohol is dehydrating. So if you're not drinking water while you're indulging in alcoholic beverages, your rate of dehydration is a little bit quicker. So what we suggest is for every alcoholic beverage that you have 8 ounces of water in between. This also will slow down the rate at which you drink. It'll slow down the rate at which the alcohol enters the bloodstream and turns to sugar and goes into the cells, and less likely chance that you're going to store all of that as body fat. So drink plenty of water throughout the day, hydrate between alcoholic beverages, and limit sodium-filled foods. Okay. So most of my patients know that what I teach at the clinic is not just how to lose weight. I teach you how to protect your heart, your kidneys, your liver, your pancreas. I talk about your full body health. So one of the things that I must touch on is to limit sodium-filled foods. When you're out and about and you're shopping and you're eating on the run, choose sensible foods that don't have a lot of sodium. So fast foods, Mexican foods, Chinese foods, they're all wonderful, so I'm not knocking them, but they do have a lot of sodium. So maybe you don't do all 3 in the same day, you know. Maybe you do a nice salad at lunch with a grilled chicken breast, you know, and you're not doing pickles with every meal either. So you want to just make sure that sodium stays down. Sodium is related to increasing hypertension or high blood pressure because, and you may or may not know this, but so water follows sodium. So when you intake salt, okay, it goes into the bloodstream just like any other nutrient would. It's absorbed into the bloodstream, and in comes water following it just like a magnet. So that then increases the volume at which your blood and water have combined and creating pressure on the arteries. So watch your sodium and drink plenty of water. Number 4, be in control of holiday food intake. Okay, so we talked about planning our daily food, food around the meal, around our parties, but now let's talk about how to plan for your parties, whether it's your party at your home or a party where you are bringing a potluck dish. Bring a healthy food. So you can go on websites and find healthy modified recipes. I'm going to give you the link to one that I absolutely love in just a moment, but we're going to talk about how to modify diets so that when you, or excuse me, how to modify recipes so that when you go online and you're looking at recipes that claim to be healthy, you'll know if they really in fact are. So bring a healthy food with you, modify your holiday recipes, and give away tempting leftovers. This is probably key. This is one of the biggest things because it's okay to indulge in a day. I tell my patients, one day, I really mean one meal, but even if it's for a day, it's not going to make or break the bank. But if you do it 2, 3, and then 4 days in a row, the body is less likely to forgive and more likely to store. All right, so moving along, start non-food traditions. I love this one because I do this at my home. Of course we're going to have holiday treats, and of course we've got to have those traditions too. But I think that sometimes, and especially down here in the good old South, our holidays are centered around food galore. So we can still have the food galore, but if we pull people away from the food table and get their hands active with something else, it might just spark an interest away from food. So the first one I say is Christmas ornament exchange party. You remember those Christmas cookie exchange parties that we have all been to a million times and come home with about 50 or 70 cookies? Yeah. Okay. So instead of doing that, have a Christmas ornament exchange party. And a way to make that even more fun would be have them choose maybe a name of someone who's going to the party and then find an ornament that reminds them of that person and comes along with a story to tell about that person. So we did that last year at our holiday party at work, and it was amazing. So Christmas ornament exchange parties, yay. You can also do an ornament painting party. That way your guests can go home with an ornament. So that's a lot of fun too. We've done that before. And then also a really cool thing that we've kind of gotten away from, but we used to do this when we were growing up, is caroling. So you have a party, everybody eats a little bit, and then you go walk it off. And you're singing, so you're using your diaphragm, you're singing, and you're using your core. So caroling is a lot of fun. It spreads cheer, and I think it's a fabulous way for you to engage your party favorites or your party comers into something that is a little more like exercise, and they don't even know it. Okay. Balance your increased intake by exercising. So I do this quite often. Most dietitians do, and most people understand the concept, but it doesn't always happen. But y'all, exercise is very effective. So I want you to think about this holiday season. It's not too late. Now's the time to plan. I want you to plan an exercise schedule, maybe with a friend. I've done this myself. My friend and I are going to walk, and when we can't get together in person, we're going to get on the phone and we're going to talk to one another, and we're going to walk and we're going to encourage one another. So I think this is a really great idea. Walk briskly while shopping the mall. I do this at work, and everybody laughs at me, but I go from one end of the clinic to the other end of the clinic, and I usually go swinging my arms. So a little bit of exercise here and there goes a long way. So when you're going shopping at the mall, take 20 minutes to walk that mall before you get out of there. And then do small exercises more often. People don't realize that using a set of stairs or standing in line at a store to pay and doing simple calf raises, you know, like a ballerina, up on your toes, down on your heels, up on your toes, down on your heels. Little things like that engage the muscle. And I'm sure you've all heard that muscle is metabolic. So the more muscle engagement you have, the more calories you burn at rest. So always use an opportunity to build muscle. And And then, of course, a formal exercise program is recommended for always, for the rest of the time. But when you're shopping and when you're busy and when you have lots of things to plan, get a friend for some accountability and do some exercise. Okay, a few more tips I have for you. We would not be doing you justice without talking about how to de-stress during the holidays. So the first one is something that is something I work on daily, and Nanette can attest to that, is to prioritize and simplify. So we get so caught up in obligations and ideas of what we think the holidays should be that we often run ourselves into the ground, and then we've got work, and then we've got family and friends. So I think it's really important to prioritize and simplify. We're going to go over that a little bit more in just a bit. And delegate. This is something that I am not real good at, but I'm learning. I typically try to do everything myself, and a little bit of delegation goes a long way. So I'm always very happy to help someone. So I think that if we could just ask for help, that might help us de-stress during the holidays. And then get plenty of sleep. Okay, so this is something that most of us don't do. Most of us know we should. But nowadays, if I don't get plenty of sleep, I am a grumpy monkey. So getting sleep does not just make you feel better the next day. It actually, studies have shown that sleep is linked to weight loss. So I try very hard to get my patients who have sporadic sleep patterns at work to focus on not just eating healthy and not just exercise, but actually focusing on making their sleep patterns more consistent. So get that sleep any chance you can, okay? And then number 8, keep track and log goals and progress. I don't know about you, but I am a journaler, and I write a lot down, not just my diet, not just my exercise habits, my daily devotion. I journal when I'm feeling great. I journal when I have questions and concerns. I journal. So I think it's really important that we keep track of our exercise, our behaviors, and then our thoughts as well. It's a great way to be accountable for what you're doing too. So things that I think should help you with keeping track of goals and your progress would be to weigh yourself maybe twice per week or once a week apart. Okay, so I think through the holidays when your goal is maintenance, but yet we're going to be doing really good on this day and not so good on this day, and we need to know, oh, it's time to get really good again. Just a simple weight taken once a week or once or twice a week at the beginning of the week, at the end of the week, basically just kind of tells you where you are. One of the things that my patients sometimes get confused about is, some patients I saw today, for instance, said, well, I did really bad on Thanksgiving, so I probably gained a bunch of weight then. Typically, it takes about, and it's different for everyone, but it takes about, a week for your body to respond with weight gain after some indulgence. So I think it's just a good way to kind of keep track of where you are. It's not for the purpose of trying to lose, so keep that in mind. This is about maintenance. And maintenance doesn't mean you're going to stay exactly the same the entire holiday. It means you're going to go up a couple of pounds, then you're going to work really hard to go down a couple of pounds, then you're going to go up. So it's a balance. Keep track of your exercise. I think this is really cool because it makes you accountable. And then when you look back and you say, ooh, I gained 3 pounds since Monday. Ooh, but I didn't do any exercise this week. But last week, I didn't gain. I did the same thing. I went to 2 parties. So it helps to put into perspective how exercise will help you to keep that balance. And then keep a food journal. And I don't just mean a food journal. I mean, journal with anything that you feel is important. But keeping that food journal for my patients who are seeing me presently at the clinic, you do know how important food journals are. They're not just important for you to be accountable for yourself, but they're important to be able to look back and go, okay, so this is what I did not accomplish this week based on what Tish has told me is important. and these are the ways to improve. And it just really helps you to look back. Even 3 months from now, you can look back and see how well you did and your progress and be proud of yourself. And that becomes very important in times when you have gained 5 or 6 pounds and you're trying to figure out what went wrong and how this happened. It's a good way to go back and be able to really compare and see what you can do to change that. Okay. Nanette, are we asking questions now or are we continuing?
We are. We have a quick poll. Let me go ahead and pull that up. Let's see.
Awesome.
I'm going to launch the poll. This one, which of these tips will you begin tomorrow to help yourself achieve your goal to maintain your current weight? So we just want to get a quick, is everybody able to vote yet?
Gosh,
there we go. Everybody's starting to vote.
I hope we didn't lose everybody.
Yeah, no, everybody's still here. Let's see. So we did leave off one of the, actually 2 of the tips we covered, exercise and journaling. I believe we left off here because we were limited to 5 answers, but we definitely want to see what everybody's connecting with, what they can commit to, and see, how everybody's going to address the holiday food stressors. Right now,
let's just assume everyone is already going to exercise and journal.
Exactly. I love journaling. Journaling is one of my favorite things to do. I find that it's a good stress relief, and it's good to kind of collect your thoughts in the morning and in the evening. It's kind of an opening and a closing of the day.
Yes.
So I'm seeing a little trend here, Tish. I am seeing that a lot of people are connecting with the pack snacks, don't skip meals, and be mindful of portions. This is one of the polls where you can actually select more than one answer. So if anybody sees something else that they want to commit to, you can go ahead and answer that as well. But I'm going to give you guys just a few more minutes. We're at 91% of the audience having answered the poll.
Hey, Nanette.
So we'll give you guys, yeah, what's up?
You know what this tells me?
What's that tell you?
This tells me that the folks that are logged in who are my patients are doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. Packing their snacks, not skipping their meals, and watching their portions. That's
awesome. Well, I'm going to go ahead and close the poll, and let's look at the results. We're going to share the results. So it looks like pack snacks, don't skip meals, and being mindful of portions came in at 75%. That's pretty awesome, Tish.
Awesome.
And bring healthy options, control portions, and give away leftovers came in second. Maintain weight, plan indulgences, and practice discretion came in at 50%. And then it sounds like starting a non-food tradition, going caroling, and painting ornaments is coming in only at 20%. And that's actually something I really want to do this holiday season, so I'm going to add that one. If I was voting, that number would be much higher. So I'm going to go ahead and, yeah, exactly. Maybe we should do that when you come down to visit.
Great.
Cool. I'm going to go ahead and close out the poll and hand over the presentation back to you. There you go.
See my wardrobe change. Okay.
Yeah, I love your hats. They look fantastic.
Okay. I like hats. Okay. So I do want to, this would be a good time also for me to go ahead and remind those of you who know, and to let those of you who don't know, who are local, know that we have support group every second Thursday of the month from 6 to 7. Yes. And this December, what we're going to do in a few weeks is everyone's going to bring a recipe and samples of that recipe, and then we're going to sample it, and then I'm going to teach them I'm going to teach you or them how to modify it a little bit better to make it a little healthier. So it doesn't have to be an already modified recipe. So if you want to come join us at support group and bring a little dish, it can be something sweet, savory, does not matter. We will certainly try it, and then we will learn how to modify it if it wasn't already. And then if it was, I will give kudos. All right, so This slide, this is one of those slides where I tell my patients I don't want you to memorize, I don't want you to write this down. It is simply a concept. So, but it is a good concept. And so this is a continuation of exercising and how exercise is important. So I call it Ponder the Pound and How Exercise Works. So let's just say, let's start with some facts that 1 pound equals 3,500 calories. So if you didn't already know that, that's the truth. A little term here, maintenance calories are the number of calories that you can eat per day to maintain weight without gaining or losing. Most of us stay at this most of the time. So if you have MyFitnessPal or something like that and you want to kind of test it and know what calorie you're at if you're maintaining, you can log your food and that will tell you. Otherwise, at the clinic, we do calculations. I can calculate someone's maintenance calories, so that's basically what I do. But I want to teach you how you can lose or know that you can lose or be in control of losing 1 pound per week. And I do want to remind you that healthy, steady weight loss for non-surgical patients is about 1 to 2 pounds a week. Bariatric surgery is a little bit different. You're going to lose a little more rapid weight, which is wonderful for those who need it because it gets you out of comorbid state more quickly. But then you hit that place where you're just like all the rest of us. We have to eat right and exercise to maintain that weight or to continue losing to your goal weight. So this is a really good concept that I want to share. So to lose 1 pound per week, you would take the 3,500 calories, which equals a pound, divided by 7 days of the week, and that gives you 500 calories. So if you know your maintenance calories, that's the key. You must know your maintenance calories, and it's different for everyone because of body composition. But if you do in fact know this, you would deduct whatever you're eating currently by 500 calories. So I use myself as an example because I'm active enough to be able to consume 1,600 calories and I don't gain nor lose. I'm also 5'9" and I dance, so I burn, I work out the equivalent of 4 hours a week. All right, so I can handle 1,600 calories. So if I decided I wanted to lose a pound a week, I would take 500 calories minus, subtracted from 1,600, that would give me 1,100. Okay, I can do that. 1,100 calories is fine for me. If I wanted to lose 2 pounds a week, okay, I would take the 3,500 divided by 7 equals 500 times 2, which is 1,000. So then I would take my maintenance calories, which is 1,600 minus 1,000, and that is going to take me below 800 calories. Wah, wah. Okay, so that's not going to work for me or for you because when you limit your calories to below 800 for women and about 1,000 for men, you're not going to be able to get the nutrient value or enough foods to equal the nutrient value for each for vitamins and minerals that you need for your body to release stored fat. So your body is going to hold on to some stored fat. So how could I still eat either 1,100, which is 1 pound a week, or 1,600 and still lose those pounds? Anyone? Anyone? Okay. I am going to burn the equivalent of 500 calories a day, and that would be for 1 pound. So let's go back up. Let's review. To lose 1 pound per week, you take 3,500 calories divided by 7 days a week equals 500. Take your maintenance calories, subtract 500 from it, and that would give you 1 pound a week. If that calorie count goes too low and you're not happy with that, if it goes below 800, you need to exercise to burn those calories. So you would subtract 500 calories from your maintenance intake, or for 1 pound a week loss, or you would subtract 250 calories from maintenance intake and burn 250 with a brisk 30-minute walk every day of the week. Or you could burn the equivalent of 500 calories and continue to eat your maintenance calories and do about an hour of, say, Zumba or something like that, which typically burns about an average of 500 calories in an hour. So these are the 3 ways that you can do that. And I think it's just amazing for people to understand that you can still eat the nutrients that you need and burn the calories off. So you're burning calories, but you're maintaining nutrients, and that's the key. Okay, so I hope that made sense to everybody. It's a little odd doing a webinar for the first time because I can't see your faces, and I don't know if you're looking cross-eyed and like, what? But you can ask questions at the end. Okay, so now that we've talked about an array of ways to stay healthy through the holidays, I just want to go over some meal and snack planning ideas. Some of these are going to be already repeated, but they bear repeating. So I want you to plan ahead. Okay, so my patients know how very important it is to plan. Some of my patients are truck drivers, and they travel all day long, and they're like, how on earth am I going to get a snack, a lunch, and a snack throughout my day? I'm in a truck. Well, you're going to plan ahead, and you're going to pack it and put it in your little igloo bag and take it with you. Create a balanced diet. Variety is key. So I do have to remind my patients that although fruits are very important, you don't want to eat the same fruit 3 times a day because although you're getting good healthy stuff from that, say an apple, you're not getting nutrient value that you would be getting from 2 other fruits. So when I say eat 3 fruits a day, I say eat 3 different fruits a day. So that's going to help to get your nutrient value up. Same goes with vegetables. Eat 3 or more servings of vegetables a day, but try to vary your types so that you get more nutrient value. Choose foods high in nutrition but low in fat and sugar. So one of the things that my patients, I think, like is the fact that I don't have them counting calories when we go through the metabolic meal plan portion of the program, where I'm having you choose healthy foods and put it together in the healthy diet pattern. I don't have you necessarily looking at calories. If I did, my patients would not eat some healthy foods like milk. It's about 80 calories a glass, or peanut butter. So what I have them do is I have them watch sugar and fat and keep those down on the down low, but eat good, nutritious foods. Do not skip meals and snacks. Did you know that if you go more than about 4 hours without nutrients, your body goes into starvation mode and thinks you don't have nutrients around and will actually store the next few calories that you eat as body fat to protect you. Now, this doesn't happen, with 1 or 2 skips, but eventually when you're skipping and skipping and skipping, your body will actually shut down the metabolism and hold on to stored fat. So the best thing you can do is have that snack between breakfast and lunch and have that snack between lunch and dinner. Pack snacks the night before you will need them. This is a key for me. If I did not do this, I would go empty-handed. In the morning, I have just enough time for my coffee to wake up my brain, get dressed, and get out the door. But I do have my breakfast within 30 minutes to an hour of waking. Otherwise, your body is going to slow down your metabolism. It's going to try and shut something down because it hasn't been nourished in 6 to 8 hours, and it's going to try very desperately not to shut down your heart, your liver, your kidneys, and all of that stuff. So it will shut down metabolism because that's what uses more calories. Batch cook and freeze meals for the future. This is very, very key for people who are busy like myself. On the weekends when you're free, batch cook some chicken breasts, some pork chops, and that way you don't have to work so hard during the week or skip or miss out. Fix a small plate and avoid seconds. You're going to eat again in 3 to 4 hours. So be satisfied, and when you follow a healthy diet pattern where you're including snacks in between your meals, typically I like a dairy and a fruit, you're going to find that you're not hungry and you're more satisfied, and my patients can vouch for that. Make a grocery list using your healthy food lists. Obviously, some of you may not have healthy food lists, but the things that we went over before, the carbs, protein, and fat in slide, I can't remember what slide number it was, but that's what I'm referring to. So your healthy proteins, your healthy carbs. Refer back to diet pattern sheet for review. This you do not have, but if you would like to be involved in our program, we certainly want you to give us a call and let us tell you what we have to offer, which I will tell you a little bit more about that at the end of this presentation. And add protein to foods by adding nuts, toasted wheat germ, ground flaxseed, milk, yogurt, These are great ideas for holiday treats, so that's why I included this in this slide. Think about it like this. If you're going to go to the holiday party and you're going to indulge and you're going to be good and you're going to have 2 sweets, you still need to have some protein to help that from going into the digestive tract too quickly and into the bloodstream too quickly. So anywhere you can, add nuts or some kind of protein. So one of the things that I told a patient today is, okay, he had a piece of pecan pie. So the pecans helped, you know, to slow down the rate at which that sugar went into the bloodstream. But if he had had a glass of milk with it, or another form of protein like a cheese stick or something, that would have helped to slow down the rate at which that carb went into the bloodstream. So sometimes you just have to think about not just limiting the sugar, but adding a protein. Okay. All right, so next we're going to talk about modifying holiday recipes. So a CNN report stated that health-minded holiday cooking may seem impossible, but nutritional experts say it's not. Chefs and dietitians alike agree that most recipes can be modified to increase their health value without sacrificing taste. And they say many tricks of the trade are simple and can be applied to all cooking any time of the year. So what I've done is I have listed a few, just a few, but you can find other ways to modify diets online. But these are just a few holiday diet modifications or holiday recipe modifications that I thought might come in handy. So I'm just going to read through them, read down the list, and some of them are going to be kind of odd, but let's give it a try this holiday season. So number 1, use non-fat, non-milk, which is like a powdered form of milk, or a non-dairy, or low-fat instead of whole milk. So I think that most of my patients and most of you need to know that after the age of 2, you should no longer rely on whole milk for nutrients. Below age 2, you need whole milk in order to develop brain, but after 2, it's going to give your body too much saturated fat. So we should stick to skim or 1% milk daily. Number 2, replace full fat with low fat cheeses. So although 2% cheeses do have more than the 10% daily value of sat fat that's recommended for any one serving of food, what I say is try to limit it to 2 servings a day. That's a whole nother presentation. So if you want some information on how to read a food label, that might be something we'll do in spring. So let me know if that's something that you want to know about. Replace fatty cuts of meat with lean cuts of meat and remove the skin and the fat. And a really cool thing that you can do that my sister taught me is you can actually make homemade chicken or beef broth or pot roast or something in the crock pot. And if you're not desperately wanting to eat it that very day, you can put it in the refrigerator and all of the fat will lift to the top and congeal, and you can just lift all that white fat out and you have a very lean meal. So I thought that was a pretty cool idea, sis. Thanks. Number 4, reduce salt, fat, and sugar in recipes, and then adjust to taste. So my patients know that the things that I have you look for on a food label are salt, saturated fat, and sugar. So, you know, you might want to try this out before you're taking it to a party, but a lot of things are so sweet. And when you've cut out sugar from your diet, things are very sweet. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed that when you eat someone else's cooking and you've been laying off the salt, suddenly everything tastes so salty? So just try a recipe with a little bit less of these things, and I bet no one will even tell the difference. Number 5, season foods with lemon juice, herbs, and spices, and even wine. If you're cooking and you want to add a fancy or a savory taste to foods, you can actually use some wine, and most of the alcohol cooks off, so you just are left with that wonderful flavor. You can do this with salads, you can do it with chicken, you can do it with all types of foods, and believe it or not, herbs and spices have anti-inflammatory properties, and they're actually very good for joint pain. So people who start using herbs and spices tend to feel better as well. Number 6, substitute unsweetened applesauce for sugar. Yes, It works. It's amazing. So for every cup of applesauce, you reduce the liquid by a half a cup. Obviously, because granulated sugar is dry, applesauce is moist. But as far as the substitution, it is a cup for a cup. Number 7, substitute whole wheat flour for white. Okay, so you're substituting whole wheat flour with instead of using white, and because of its composition, you'll use 7/8 of a cup of wheat for 1 cup of white. Okay. Number 8, Greek yogurt instead of mayo, and yes, Greek yogurt. A lot of my patients say, well, what's the difference between yogurt and Greek yogurt? Well, Greek yogurt has about 50%, 40% more protein than regular yogurt. I kind of refer to regular yogurt as a dessert. Typically it has less protein and more sugar. Not to say that Greek yogurt doesn't have sugar, because some Greek yogurts can have upwards of 34 grams. So you want to definitely look at your food label and use a low-fat, low sugar. And for a golden rule, if you want to jot this down, that's great. You want your Greek yogurt to have no more than about 7 grams of sugar per serving. I am fine if it's got fruit in it, but if you're using Greek yogurt as a mid-morning or mid-afternoon snack like we talked about, doing a dairy and a fruit, I recommend also a real serving of fruit, because oftentimes the fruit essence is not a full serving in the yogurt. This is a cool one, and I've tried it, and it's pretty cool. Number 9, frozen banana for ice cream. So what you do is you freeze your banana, and then you can even smush the banana in a Tupperware and freeze it so that you can like really scoop it out like ice cream, so it kind of makes like a cup full. But you freeze your banana, and you take either a knife or a really fine ice cream scoop that has a really sharp edge, and you just scoop it out like ice cream. And kids really like this. You can use some dark or non-sugared chocolate on top, or some sugar-free caramel, or whatever. But it's really good. And being that fruit or banana is a fruit, you can put a protein with it. So maybe you freeze some peanut butter in with it, and you do the banana and peanut butter ice cream, which I think is a great idea. I love frozen peanut butter. And then number 10, and the weirdest one yet, drum roll please, black beans for flour and brownies. Yes, black beans, drained and dried, so drain them really good, puree them, and use them in brownies. You would not believe how rich and how moist those brownies are. And it is a cup for a cup. So I hope those little tips were helpful. So I wanted to share a recipe with you that I found online that I love, because I am a true Southern gal and I love my cheese straws, but they are so fattening and so greasy and just so not good for you. So if you will go to How Sweet Eats and look at this recipe, I think it's a really good recipe. It makes them crisp, so you do have to kind of be careful to be sure and spray your rack really well, because otherwise you're going to have some broken straws. But I think that's okay too. That means smaller portions. So give it a try and let me know what you think. Okay. All right. So this would not be a Tish presentation without at least telling you the benefits of exercise, because I think we get caught up in the thought that, oh, exercise, I got to burn calories, that's all exercise is for. And I want you to understand that exercise, while it does burn calories, and that is a very positive aspect of exercise, it does so many wonderful things for the body. And a true healthy individual can live a true healthy, longer life if they continue to exercise. So, that commercial, a body in motion stays in motion. So I want to go over these aspects and explain again why exercise is so very important. Now, I am not an exercise physiologist, so actually putting someone on a program is outside of my scope of practice, but kudos to my exercise physiologists out there, and I'm going to spread the word why exercise is so important. So regular physical activity is a key factor in achieving and maintaining a healthy body weight, and it does these things. Improves oxygen uptake. Okay, so that's on a cellular level. Reduces blood pressure. reduces bad LDL cholesterol and increases good cholesterol. And I don't know if you know it, but good cholesterol clears the blood of bad cholesterol. So that's a plus. Reduces the risk of premature death. Okay, well that's pretty much an overall, hello, I'm going to start exercising tonight. Helps control blood sugar, so it is a known fact that exercise will drop blood sugar. For those of you who do have diabetes or low blood sugar issues, or even if you don't, I do recommend that you have a really good protein carb snack before you exercise. I recommend banana and peanut butter. And then slows bone loss, so when you're exercising, you're actually building bone blasts, you're building bone. And so that's very important, especially with bariatric surgery, because you have a tendency not to absorb as much calcium as you did before. So any little bit helps. So a little bit of exercise will help to build bones as well as calcium intake. Decreases appetite, which is really good. So on those days that you are just ravished and think that you must eat, but you shouldn't need to eat because you just ate a little while ago, go for a walk. It'll waste a little more time before you eat again, and chances are your endorphins will release and you will not be hungry. It builds and firms muscles. Remember that muscles are metabolic, so when you have that hard muscle mass, you burn more calories at rest. And besides that, it just looks good and healthy. Exercise reduces stress. So here during the holiday season, when we eat more, exercise less, we are doing ourselves a disservice if we are not exercising. We need to improve our mood and reduce our stress, and exercise does just that, so give it a try. Exercise also encourages other healthy habits. So lots of studies show that those who are exercising are eating right, and those that are eating right are more apt to exercise. So sometimes, again, like I said, if you've gotten out of the gym, but you have that membership sitting over there and you're paying for it and you're not there, grab a friend, get up the courage to walk back through that gym door. That seems to be the hardest thing for most people, including myself. Get there once, and you'll continue going. Body in motion stays in motion. And then also, exercise lowers the risk of chronic disease like heart disease, diabetes, all the things that we are trying to improve. So let's talk about what exercise is. There are two forms of exercise that my exercise physiologists have explained are necessary for a healthy lifestyle, and that is aerobic, which is cardiovascular health. Okay, the way Dr. Avery and I explain that is it's anything that makes you sweat or pant and get your heart rate up. So it uses your large muscles, so your legs, your thighs, and raises your heart rate. Walking, jogging, biking, dancing, Zumba, anything like that. Don't underestimate the power of a nice brisk walk. It really does the body good. Of course, it is good to vary that, not just walk at the same pace and at the same distance every time. You want to add some, bent leg action or use your arms and do some different things as you're walking, so your body doesn't get completely used to what you're doing. You want to trick it a little bit or give it something, some challenge. And then, of course, strength training, which is muscle health. The muscle is extremely important in a healthy body. So strength training will increase lean muscle mass, improve flexibility, mobility, balance, and stability, increases metabolism. So that means, ladies and gentlemen, that it burns more calories. And resistance exercise include using weights, the bands, stair climbing, weight-bearing exercises where you're using your own body, like push-ups. What we do encourage at the clinic are the resistance bands because you can do pretty much a full body workout with them. But then if you can get to the gym, that's even better because you have professionals there that can help you with your positioning and your body position and make sure that you're doing everything properly. So get to exercising. All right, so just as kind of a review, I wanted to tell you a few more things about your holiday habits and to remember your nutrition principle. We've gone through a lot of stuff tonight. I understand that it sounds like a lot and it's going to boggle your brain when you go to bed at night. I hope you're thinking about this. But I just want you to remember a few key things that are going to help you this holiday season and always. Start your day with breakfast. 30 to 60 minutes after waking, you want to have that breakfast to start that metabolism. You should have 6 small meals and snacks a day, no more than 4 hours apart. So the way we call that is breakfast snack, lunch snack, dinner, and PM snack before bed. No fruit before bed because it can actually raise your blood sugar, you go to sleep, it can drop your blood sugar, and your body has a natural ability to protect you from things like low blood sugar, so you might actually wake up in the middle of the night and feel that you need to eat again. So best thing to do is just avoid fruit or high sugar foods before bed. So a good PM snack would be graham crackers, peanut butter, and a glass of milk, or some wheat crackers and cheese, something like that. Some good cereal that has nuts and some protein with some skim or 1% milk. And this is something that we talk about at the clinic, but I've changed it just a little bit for the holidays. Decrease eating out to no more than twice per week. So I've raised the bar on the one cheat. If you will increase your exercise just a little bit and make sure that you don't stop your exercising, I feel like if you limit your cheats to 2 a week, you should be able to maintain. Because before, with the one a week, you're losing. Decrease desserts, cakes, cookies, candies to no more than 2 per week or per function. Again, I think that you understand how to balance better now. So when you go to a party, try to limit to maybe 2 of your most favorite things and eat healthy the rest of the time. Decrease fat in the diet by choosing low fat and cook low fat as well. So no submerging or deep frying. Cook with olive oil and canola oil and healthy ways. Pair a serving of protein with a serving of carb. I think I've made myself very clear on that one and why that's important. Alcohol in moderation. So let me just give you a little idea about this so that you can picture this in your mind. Protein and carb equal 4 calories per gram. Fat equals 9 calories per gram. Guess where alcohol sits? At 7 calories per gram. So almost as fattening as fat. So be sensible about your alcohol consumption. Make sure you're drinking water in between your alcoholic beverages. Increase your water to 64 ounces a day, more with exercise. Carry your water with you. Stay hydrated when you're out there shopping and doing holiday stuff. Increase your physical activity with some cardio and some muscle build. Get plenty of sleep and de-stress. And then journal your progress for future reference and for sanity. One quick thing, I just want to remind you that mental health is a priority. As Nanette will tell you shortly, there are many ways and reasons that someone might get down for the holidays. So I want to leave you with this little advice. The most important advice I can give you is to remember the true meaning of Christmas. This may be religious, family-oriented, or just a needed break for some. Whatever it is for you, remember to go back to a time when things were simple and things were right with you, when your life was simpler, and make a conscious effort to return there in your mind. Honor your traditions and be true to the meaning of Christmas for you. And yes, it is okay to say no. And I think we all know this as we saw in our poll that some people are not going to be going to holiday parties. It is okay to say no. So remember, you are in control of your mind, your body, and your health. You are amazing. Now, go out there and find your balance. Nanette?
You know, Tish, you bring up a really important point there. The holidays can be really stressful on the emotions. You know, anxiety and depression often come up. We can get caught up in memories of holidays past and focus on problems rather than our blessings. Sometimes it's just hard to admit that we might need professional help. If you have any of these symptoms, or you find yourself struggling with grief, loss, depression, anxiety, stress, or any difficult emotions that you feel like you can't handle at any time, especially during the holidays, but any time you might need some additional help to process and get through a difficult time, please reach out to us. We're more than happy to refer you to a professional in your area. You know, the single bravest act you can do is reach out when you feel like you can't handle everything on your own. We want you to know that help is out there. I'm more than happy to help you find somebody under your insurance in your area to visit with for counseling if you need it.
That's right. So remember, the holiday season is a perfect time to reflect on your blessings and seek out ways to make life better for those around us. So now is the time for some questions, I hope. Is that what
Well,
we're
I hope
doing
we
now?
have some. Yeah, I hope we have some questions. We did have one poll that we didn't get around to asking, but I think it's probably interesting to see. I know everybody has, at some point in their life, gained some holiday weight, so I just wanted to do a quick poll. We're going to do 2 more polls, but this is the second to last poll. I want to find out, what in holidays past, how much weight the audience has gained. I mean, that happens to all of us. I remember that before weight loss surgery, I remember gaining quite a bit of weight during the holidays, so I know that everybody is at some point or another experienced this. So give me just a second. I'm going to pull up the poll, and if everybody wants to go ahead and submit their answers, this is a single selection poll. But how many pounds have you gained during past holiday seasons? 0 to 2, which is pretty impressive. Anybody who's able to only gain 0 to 2 pounds during the holidays, I'd like to get some tips from you, as well as these tips I've just picked up from Tish. 3 to 6, which is pretty average, I think, and that's showing up as the most popular answer. 7 to 11, which I think I probably fell in that category quite a few times in my life.
Yep, me too.
12 to 15, or 16 plus, and I'll tell you, I've been in that 16 plus category of weight gain. I had a little holiday in Italy for 3 weeks when I was in grad school, and with all of that good pasta and that gelato, I just could not pass it up, and I think I must have gained about 20 pounds in those 3 weeks. So I know it's possible to gain that amount of weight in 3-week period. I don't think it's possible for a bariatric patient to gain that much in a 3-week period, but I certainly remember before my bariatric surgery procedure that, yeah, I definitely could fall into that category. So we have 86% of the audience that has weighed in on this question. Let's go ahead and close the poll and look at our results here. So here we go. It seems that most of us have fallen into that 3 to 6 category at 56%, then a secondary 7 to 11 at 28%, 0 to 2 is 11%, and then 12 to 15, 6%. So yeah, I certainly identify with that 12 to 15 group because I understand that it's easy to put on weight during the holidays.
Yep.
Go ahead and close out that poll.
All right.
All right. So we have a few more slides left, Tish.
We want to open up the forum for you to tell us what topics of interest you have for our next webinar, which I believe is in March. Is that correct, Nanette?
It is. It's going to be the beginning of March. We haven't planned a date specifically yet, but we'll have that out on our Facebook page. Just so everybody knows, please follow us on Facebook. You'll get lots of interesting information. I really enjoy posting stuff on Facebook. That's me. If you guys follow the Facebook page, I'm posting all of those articles. So please comment. Let me know what you like. If you have an interest, please feel free to message us on Facebook, and I'll find some interesting articles on whatever topics you're interested in. We do have one question from Rosemary, and I'm going to see if I can take Rosemary off mute so she can answer or ask that question. So it looks like, Rosemary, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh,
can you hear me?
Oh, good.
Yes.
Hi, Rosemary.
Hello. Hi, Tish.
Hi.
Excellent. I'm really enjoying it.
Good, good. I'm glad to hear that. So do you have a question for me, Miss Rosemary?
I have a question because it's easy during the holiday season to graze at parties.
Yes.
And so it's harder to monitor. So how do you monitor your grazing when you're at parties, when it's kind of potluck and people bring different things and you just pick and choose?
That's a very good question, because a lot of time what people are going to do is grab a plate and kind of go through the line and then get out of line and then go back through the line. So what we suggest is, and it's funny because you want to go through the line once maybe and fill your plate with what you want and then try to avoid going back. And a way to do that would be not to position yourself so close to the food, because I know that I am very tempted to go back and take another and another if I'm within, you know, a good distance of the food or I can smell the food. So one good way to gauge it is one plate. Once you've completed that plate, you are finished for the night, or just to, you know, put kind of a have a plan in place so that you know how many times you're going to have a certain type of food. So, you know, maybe you're going to graze. If you're going to graze with the vegetables and the foods that are healthier, but then know that you're only going to indulge twice on something that is fabulous.
Okay, thank you very much. Excellent.
Thank you for your question.
Let's see if we have any more questions here. Tish, give me just a moment.
Okay.
My question panel disappeared on me. I'm going to bring it back up.
Don't we love?
I got it. It's back up. I just hit it. We don't have any more questions, so let's go ahead and go into that very last poll that we have, since we do want to know what our audience wants to hear from us in March. We have a quick poll of which topics might be interesting to you. So in March, we're kind of exploring to see what the audience wants to hear about. We have obesity and hormones could be a potential topic, vitamins and supplement needs of the bariatric patient, how to have a happy, healthy family and household, so getting your household active and getting your family motivated to eat healthy, cravings, regain, and coping with transfer addictions, body image and self-esteem, developing your plan for success. So just give us some feedback to let us know what you might be interested in so we can plan that topic for March. I'm going to give just a few more minutes. We're only at 55% in that poll.
And Nanette, if they wanted to learn more about nutrition topics, could they contact us on the website or on Facebook and let us know?
Yes, definitely. The email address is support@smsurgeons.com. You can email us there anytime. We will get back to you within 24 hours. You can reach out to us on Facebook if you have some questions. We do prefer that you send an email. We don't want you to share your personal details on social media, so certainly don't make it a comment to one of the posts if you think it's too personal. But you're more than welcome to message us. Yes, that's really important. We definitely want to protect your privacy, so watch what you share on social media. We will have a recording of this broadcast posting on social media, on the website, and it will be available for download. So if anybody wants to listen to the webinar again, we will have it available on the website. On Facebook, I'll probably tweet it as well, put it on Google+, and you can download it on the website.
Awesome.
So we're at 85%. There are a couple of people, I think 2 or 3 maybe, that haven't. So we'll go ahead and close the poll. Give me just a second. And let's see what everybody's interested in. So it looks like body image, self-esteem, and developing your plan for success is the top topic there. So that's definitely one that I really enjoy talking about. Those are specific things to counseling and working on your self-image and coping with the change in your body and your appearance and attention that you receive. Coming in second is cravings, regain, and coping with transfer addictions at 24%. That's always a pretty popular topic as well. Now, we're all struggling through something, and when you remove one addiction, sometimes you transfer to another, so that certainly makes a lot of sense to me. We have a tie for obesity and hormones, vitamin and supplement needs of the bariatric patient. Now, I do want to include that we have an article from our latest newsletter from Dr. Avery on obesity and hormones, so that's certainly a good one. I'll post that probably tomorrow morning, so if anybody hasn't seen it yet, look for it on Facebook so you can have a read. It is also on our website, so if you visit smsweightloss.com. Is that the correct? That's the right website. Am I getting the right website right, Tish?
Yeah, I think SMS.
smsweightlosscenter.com. So yeah. You can go to the. We'll include that link. You can always go to.
Sorry, I was reading.
I go to it every day. And I just slipped my mind. So we'll definitely post those links on the Facebook page. If you go to the Facebook page, I'll post the link to that article. If you haven't checked out our newsletter, we definitely want you to sign up for it. That's really important. I'm going to go ahead and close this poll and let Tish finish up her presentation here.
Sure. I noticed that 18% was interested in nutritional supplementation after bariatric surgery. If you are current patients who are struggling with this knowledge, please feel free to call us and you can ask to talk to me because that is information that does not need to wait until March. So I'll be glad to give you that information. So very, very good questions there, Nanette, and yes, those are great topics. So just remember, it's not just your looks, it's your life. And for more information, you can call us at 800-537-8809. I just want to encourage you all to stay healthy through the holidays. Stay in touch with us if there's anything that we can do for you. If you're a current patient, you've got my information and can contact me anytime. Email is best. And then if you're someone who is not a patient, but is interested in any of our programs, we do have bariatric surgery, but we also do a non-surgical and an OptiFast, which is a medically supervised nutrition program. The non-surgical would be a metabolic meal plan. It's just healthy eating, and we're glad to have you and talk to you about your options. And we do lots of education at the clinic. I do most of that education, so I try to make it fun and informative and listen to your needs. So happy holidays, and thank you so much for tuning in. And Nanette,
it was so much fun.
I guess I'll see you soon in New Orleans because I think I owe
exactly. Yeah, we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna go hear some carols in New Orleans, and it's gonna be great holiday season. Thank you everyone for joining us this evening. It was a pleasure to inform you about being healthy through the holidays, and we look forward to assisting you soon. Thanks and have a great evening.
Good night.
Good night.
Merry Christmas.